Welcome back to Josiah Plays BioShock. I am here and I'm gonna fight Fontaine right now.
Go! Go now! Hit him with the needle!
Hit him with the needle. Drain at him, go. Oh yeah.
Can I get it? I'll get you! I'm not finished!
Ow.
I'll put you down! You bastard!
Alright, here we go. Drain him, drain him, drain him. Wow, he's pretty crazy impressive looking.
Can I get it, Luke?
You think I'm alone in this world? I got more than enough mugs to watch my back while I recharge.
Where is he? Get back in the thing. Drain him. Drain him.
I'm gonna cut you into bits.
He's gonna cut me to
You
bits.
think I'm alone in this world? I got more than enough mugs to watch my back while I recharge.
Electric gel's a little bit overpowered.
You think you got a shot at this? I'm barely getting started!
I'm gonna drain him. I'm gonna drain him again. Is that it? Did I win? Oh yeah.
Built! I sent you topside! I called you back, showed you what you was capable of! Even that life you thought you had, that was something I dreamed up and had tattooed inside your head! Now if you don't call that family, I don't know what is!
Wow. Look at him. Oh cool, all the little sisters are coming out and stabbing him and draining his atom with their needles. I like how he looks like the iconic statues we've been seeing everywhere. He's been pumped full of so much atom that he's just become this iconic, statuesque, you know, Superman, basically. And yet, wow, look at that. They're all, yeah, I like seeing them get revenge after what's been done to them. Get them, girls! Hell yeah. Fuck you, Fontaine. Wow, and here we go. It's like a closing movie, maybe?
They offered you this city.
I'm glad the girls are okay.
And you refused it. And what did you do instead?
I got the hell out of there, I guess.
What expect of you? You saved them.
Yay, I saved them!
You gave them the one thing that was stolen from them. A chance. A chance to learn. To find love. To live.
Alright.
And in the end, what was your reward? You never said. But I think I know. A family.
I got old and died, but all the girls, I raised them and they grew up. Oh, that's it. No credits roll or anything. Well, I'll roll my own damn credits, apparently. So that's the end of the game, obviously. Alright, let's roll the credits here. Ken Levine, good job, Ken Levine. You designed a crazy game there. Wow. Good writing. So, that's BioShock. Let's talk about the ending first, and then I'll go back from there. So the ending. Fontaine was not that hard to beat, obviously, using some of the good stuff I had, but pretty impressive looking, and pretty interesting. He was so pumped up with Adam, he was no longer a human. He was just like a ultimate iconic statue of what the Superman is supposed to be. So that was interesting symbology at the end. I'm really glad that he got beaten, him and Ryan and all of them died. They were all victims of their own fucked up evil ways. And I loved the fact that all the little sisters, the girls themselves, came out and they were stabbing him with the needle draining things. It was like, that was true poetic justice, I felt, and it was really good to be able to see that, considering the horrors that we know that those girls endured, and the fact that they were used to drain Adam, and it was the very tools of Adam draining that they were being used for. That's the very tools that they used to defeat him at the end. So awesome stuff there. So talking about the game in general, my thoughts. Obviously, I liked the game for the most part. I didn't always enjoy playing it exactly. It was very stressful for me at times. There was times it was scary and felt very tense and put me on edge. And a lot of the stuff in there really was just disturbing to me and actually really sort of upset me, you know. Not in a bad way, not in a way that I would say I wish I hadn't played it or that I wouldn't recommend someone to play it, not in any way like that, but just in the way that sometimes a certain movie or something you might find it very disturbing, and it might put you on edge and stress you out and upset you in a sort of cathartic, good way, because I had an experience with this game, unlike any game I've played. And that's why I played these games, is to have experiences. So not every game's just going to be the generic fantasy story, or where you go in and you're a hero and everything's really black and white and you don't really have to confront anything horrible or disturbing. I mean, there was some horrible, disturbing things to deal with in this game, and on a psychological level and on a level of humanity, you know. The darkness in humanity was the evil here. There was no supernatural entity. There was no, orcs and undead and monsters. There was no zombies, There was no aliens. There was nothing. There was no inhuman, outside of human experience thing to cast all the evil on, to scapegoat. This was about the evil that lurks within the hearts of men, quite literally. This was about the dark places of human psychology, and where even the best intentions, where even the desire for freedom or the desire for success, where that can take us, I mean, obviously it was a really over-the-top, very over-dramatized, stylized sort of setting and story here, but it was based on human psychology, on the things inside of us that are ugly, taken to an extreme and put up on stage here with harsh light shined on it, showing, hey, this is the kind of beautiful thing that people can create, and this is the kind of ultimate ugliness that beauty can turn into, based on the failings of mankind. And it was impressive in that right. I mean, the story itself, the story setting, the kind of concept that was presented in this game that you were so immersed into. I found it very immersive. I definitely got drawn into it more and more as I went along. I mean, there were times that were more impressive and times that were more relaxed or was more gamey, like, oh, I'm just playing, I'm going through, wrenching it up, whatever. But there were other times where I felt very sucked into it, and again, that's what caused a lot of the distress and the fear and the revulsion and the feeling of it being very disturbing. So they did a great job there. They did a great job. The mechanics, interesting. I mean, lots of different weapons, lots of different weapon types. You got to upgrade yourself in various ways with all the different tonics and stuff. And then there was all the plasmids. I mean, you had tons of options of how to kill things and how to make yourself better. So in that way, it had some, RPG elements, you could say, to it. I mean, I wouldn't call it an RPG by any stretch of the imagination. There was no choice in it other than, you had silent protagonist, and you didn't do much characterization, and you didn't really make any choice other than save the little sisters or harvest them, which was a pretty binary, shallow choice. I mean, I don't really see why you would even choose not to save them, other than just for the sake of being a dick, just because you wanted to. And presumably you would get a different ending if you had done that, but I mean, other than that, not a lot of choices and stuff, you know, character defining type stuff. So I wouldn't call it an RPG. I wouldn't even call it an RPG hybrid. I understand some people would call it an RPG hybrid, and it has probably been called that, or say that it has, quote, RPG elements. I would say, yeah, it has things that are, some things that are not pure shooter elements that have been ported over, you know, ideas of character, you know, this stuff with all the gene tonics and upgrading yourself in that way, you could call an RPG element. But I consider this just a first-person shooter. A very interesting one with a very unique setting, some unique mechanics as far as the hacking and the tonics and the plasmids and all that sort of customization goes. But for the most part, it was a shooter. And like I said at one point during one of the videos, I said pretty much all shooters have to either be a military-themed game or a horror-themed game. And this was certainly a horror-themed game. I mean, it wasn't typical horror, it wasn't ghosts and zombies and serial killers, exactly. I mean, the splicers were more or less serial killers, but it was definitely horror. I mean, it was definitely, let's get into some scary, disturbing, dark crevices of human psychology type stuff here. So, did it scare me? Yeah, there were a lot of times it definitely scared me. I mean, not only times when I was actually physically startled, but times when I was on the edge of my seat, nervous, my rate was up. I felt that I was in a scary situation. And then there were times that it scared me in a more subtle psychological sense, like, you know, a sort of horror at the darkness inside a human being, inside human beings in general, inside myself. I mean, things that I had to confront. So, in that sense, very good game, very well done. Would I say it's one of my favorite games of all time? No, because not only am I not a huge shooter fan, but just that, you know, the type of game this is not 100% what I really, really like out of games. But am I glad I played it? Absolutely. I knew that this would be a great game, an important game to play going into it. That's why I picked it. That's why I wanted to play it for a long time. You know, I read what reviewers, what critics, as well, not only professional games journalists, but also, you know, other people that I know that play games, and just general buzz and talk about a game on the internet, you know. And so when I see a game that's talked about in a certain way for years, I know that that's a game that I need to eventually play. You know, this year I had several games like that I played. Half-Life 2 and its little mini expansions, and Portal, and Batman Arkham Asylum, and now this. These are games that I knew were important games that you need to play. If you're a gamer, you need to eventually play these games because they're important. Because they did things that other games didn't do. They give you an experience that other games will not give you. They're just really well done for what they are, for what they're trying to do. And I think this game did what it was trying to do. I think Ken Levine is a brilliant guy. I think he's a great game designer and a great writer, and he creates very immersive, impressive experiences. And he certainly did a great job here. I think this game is worth the hype. That the things that have been said about it, the very, very complimentary things that have been said about BioShock have been true and warranted. And I thought, I was impressed, deeply impressed by this game on a lot of levels. Would I say, oh, I loved it, it was so much fun, I'd recommend it to anybody for just a rip-roaring great time? No, not necessarily. But I would definitely say that it was an impressive and important game, very well done, very atmospheric, beautiful and horrible at the same time in a lot of places. A lot of really good dialogue and writing as well. Extremely interesting level designs, and just the setting itself of Rapture, very interesting and creative, exceptionally so. So I'm glad I played it. I'm glad you were able to watch along with me. I hope you enjoyed this Let's Play of BioShock, and I hope you enjoyed experiencing this with me and hearing my reactions and commentary as I went along. I'm glad I was able to do it, and I'm glad that some people watched it here with me. So thank you for watching. Josiah Plays BioShock, and I hope you liked it. Thanks.